But KPI and both Valiant have been two teams that have played a very slow burning style. So we'll be looking to see not only a mirror matches, but a mirroring in playstyle as well.
Impactful trade there for Nesgas, the KO knife, and 40 seconds on the clock. Gonna give it away for KPI. They don't really have too much else to work with. So at this point, 3 versus 4 retake. If the plant can go down, is the wingman and the flash being thrown in? No disruption. Just Valiant waiting to group up and hit the site together.
Some teams would opt to drop back here, but KPI don't have much utility play for the spike diffusal. Instead, we'll post up quickly. Valiant grouping up off the back of a dizzy, but it does break pretty damn quickly. Sayonara playing an aim game, and KPI are taking charge. Valiant are being punished from being a little bit inconsiderate of each other's movement. And it's Nesgas all by himself on a 1-on-3, has to drop beneath. It's a good read on where Zeddy is. He knows where Sayonara is approximately, but Killer's approaching from above will mean his demise, and first blood goes to KPI.
Fighting quite aggressively on the site here, but Zeddy is able to get the kill.
Yeah, that spray down across the toxic screen was enough to deal with one already. And Valiant haven't been able to group up without dropping a player, which is just going to complicate the endeavor for him here. Unless Sayonara closes up the distance against Jesse and gets killed off early. Not quite sure if the cross is there for a gun to be collected by Jesse. Also a very influential player, someone we'll need to keep an eye out on. But Valiant have had to play a lot of games in play-ins already, and this is just one stepping stone for them to reach where they ultimately want to get to. Both teams think the same way. But for KPI, this round is about not dropping as many players, make sure they have most weapons available for the next round.
Yes.
He's alone near yellow, no real enforcements to follow him up. He's been stunned, flashed, but still runs off with a kill. What has happened there? I think that is the best case scenario for Sakate, because he wasn't going to get out of that for free. Ambi on another end catches Insider off guard, so the table has stabilized as it's 3 players per side.
Sayonara might actually go for the flank here. He's holding knows that all these players are walking together, but his death ball's found a kill on Tequila, so there's no Viper Wall.
I'm surprised KPI took the fight there. But Zeddy is going to wait for Sayonara to approach as well. A potential crossfire to be put in place. Sayonara doubles up, and that's a Quadra for him already. If Neskas gets picked up by him as well, it could be the ace. But Zeddy is there as a guarantee in KPI win their bonus round. Yeah. So the person spearheading is the one that will define the tempo. If KPI lose more players like this, they'll be in trouble. Valiant already with 2 picks, with no trades going towards the Spanish representative.
Said he's got the up. It's handing it over, and it's the RGL instead that's just honing up to be a glorified turret. Easy way to farm kills for a second Thrash, though.
Fair. That's the first shot connected. Draws out the pistol for the second, as Bisk tries to assist him in that endeavor. But Zeddy, even if blind, is able to find another shot. Bisk has found some space to be relevant, but Insider's putting himself in a 1v2. Valiant's early kills with the pistols have now paid off, but there's not much time, and Insider's got the bot facing towards the spike. It's already been broken out into the open. Jesse ends up dropping, and so does Tempo. Insider is able to avert the crisis. Dizzy doesn't quite catch Tempo out, but it gives him a sign to drop back. Sayonara there to open up the B site for his team.
No commander's going to be used to confirm that spot. Insider's just going to be annoying. He's going to keep Nesgas over in his position, even wins the fight. So Valiant, they need to basically watch out for that lurk. Even saving is risky in this position. It's a 3v5, 2v5, and that second Thrash is going to come in.
Valiant players dropping like flies, and the chase is on by Sayonara to amp up that score. To provide some free space for Bisk to do his thing. That is absolutely superb. A grand opener.
Now it's going to force Valiant to go and make a play. Nesgas trying to just hug the wall, get into that little nookie corner. And Sayonara deals with him there as well.
This is not slow burn. I don't know what it is, but it's more destructive than that. I don't see first degree burns, I see full destruction. Things do get a little bit rough around the edges, but the fact that KPI have got number supremacy in that mid-fight, it just works out in favor of him. And Jesse, yes, he's been put in a position to clutch here, and he's known as a pretty good player in positions such as these, but it just feels all too far away from him. to make this all fathomable.
This slow, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Plays are drawn out. Fisk tries to find cover as another angle of attack is being created to the back of B site, but Cake and Jesse feel less confident to take that angle, knowing there's an operator in play, as well as Insider holding a cross line behind 7-0, and leave the B site completely open for their opponents to take.
No command even used.
Whoa.
That's the only good side for Cake. He's able to get a kill. The wingman's still going to plant, and Insider still on this lurk is going to get the perfect timing onto Jesse.
He's a timing god! And now Valiant need to be quick about this because it's a ticking time bomb with Insider being on enemy lines, and the Viper Spit dropping onto the spike as well, complicating the affair. Insider showing his presence. Sayonara also holding down the front line, and it's all down on Escas. A 1-on-2, unable to use utility. Sayonara peeking out of the pit! Fight against Ambi. And Nescas tries desperately to bring things back for his team, but
30 seconds left.
it just hasn't worked out.
I mean, it's smart, isn't it? Okay, the operator's on A. Defo just tends to stay where he is as a big turret, slow mobile gun, fights and picks elsewhere. It's B main on Jesse, or mid in that case against Nescas. Valiant going down one at a time.
Well, 3v5 not entirely impossible, but very improbable.
Lurk too. Look at Bisk.
And especially if a lockdown is thrown in by Insider as the guarantee. Defo reads the position, but still doesn't get the shot down on time. An upper angle taken up by Bisk, but really no need to peek it, but make it look fantastic and flamboyant. Right moments all down. There's a world about that Marshall shot. Got the headshot, but the flash has just been superb. It's not just the firepower, it's everything from KPI. Their utility usage setting each other for success, making sure Valiant have got the least chances possible to retaliate.
This is the thing I think that's been going wrong consistently for Valiant as well. If they want to re-aggress and retake space, they go for where the action is. Beforehand, if they got pushed on A, they might push mid or B main, try and be fluid. But here they're just walking into fights.
They might just have a real chance, but Killers, of course, there's another lurk. And Valiant, I'm sure, not too big fans of that. Though Sayonara takes a fight too early. Insider loses his life. Killers misses the first shot, but is able to connect with the second. So Cake at least is low. Can he close it all up himself? His team might have messed up a little, but like we said, there are get out of jail free cards here.
Jesse. Again, all the way
Does he
around.
turn things around? Yes, he can. Finds an operator to use as well to his disposal, and Valiant make a thrifty round work. It is, and Killis is wary of a position like that being taken up. They know their weakness of their plays and will account for them. Good dagger to the center of sight, disables two players as utility. The most important ones, and well, the initiators in this instance. Cake looking to frontline this. Zeddy, all aware, and goes in for a second bite and rips Defo to shreds. Ambi, all that remains. And honestly, he's required a miracle, which he will not be able to bring. Too afraid to expose this very important position, but it might just be the right idea. Trigger this in play that could give themselves the round. Jesse shows himself early, but Defo doesn't. Sayonara, you're incredible! There's no one quite like him. The ferocity he took that angle with, it's just absolutely sublime.
It's double pistol as well for KPI, similar to what they had against the Sweet and Sour series as well on this map. On their choice, and you can really understand why. You don't have that Sage Wall to help you get in, so they just have to send it.
The only thing they really had to get that push going on was a Dizzy, so they tried to throw a lot of players to the problem, but the bodies keep on falling, and Valiant are dropping further behind, but somehow Neskis and Cake have drawn things back, but as long as Sayonara is alive, is there any really hope? KPI! For Valiant, I mean, the only way to salvage themselves is to get some sort of damage here or turn it all around in a reverse sweep. KPI are really toying with their food right now, and a task is on Valiant's coaching staff to bring the morale right back in place.
Luckily, Valiant headed in a different direction, and they catch Insider on the way.
And there's one locked on site, and that's Bisk, all to himself.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, can't find the first two shots, but somehow finds the next two. I don't know how that works, but it does. And it does mean that both of the teams have got 3 players apiece.
Yeah, it was a no, 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 yes moment for Bisk. But it's a 3v3 still. Sayonara down to low HP, coming in from markets, just whether logs gets cleared.
Sayonara opening up. This site will be a little bit softer. So Nescas will get the job done quite quickly and repositions up close and personal. 2 killers, but still Zeddy's push is enough to catch them off guard. Valiant are able to win. Ambi and Defo are going to start to walk through. Biscan Insider finding trading damage. Wait a second, this should have been a clean round from Valiant, having the better guns. But Insider's just a monster on the classic! And somehow is alive to tell the tale for a little longer as Jesse finally gets the spike down. They are separated, the 2 Valiant players, so
yeah.
KPI have got the potential to separate them.
Even if Valiant win this round, it's a problem because they bought up big rifles that they're going to lose here, but they could still lose the round.
Yeah, it's far from over. Sayonara looking to take up space early. The paranoia is good, but the follow-up isn't quite there. And Jesse is able to save Sarcake. Still capable of players of doing damage. Early aggression coming through. The Cloudburst does allow Sayonara to stay alive long enough to even get a kill.
Lovely little
Valiant
set play.
Wanting to take up the pace, it just doesn't work out fully.
The idea was good considering Valiant didn't have the weaponry, but the response was even better from KPI, just how quick it came in.
And now their task on taking on this A-side defense, 2 very different positions, but it's a potential crossfire setup. Defo is left to push by himself as a grenade is dropped to deter the rest from following suit. Still, Valiant are getting the better of these kills. Isolating killers onto short might have been the best case scenario for them right now.
Insider is sending it though. The KO knife isn't really going to slow him down, but he gets onto such a wide angle that he catches Jesse just as the spike's planted.
There's an aura of confidence coming from off of Insider right now. And he's got Bisk to follow it up as well. They jump simultaneously. Insider gets one before he drops. Bisk trying to do chip damage with a shock dart. It lands well, and his lead will land onto Sakake's body as well, keeping KPI on top. This is so intricate. There's a flank on a flank. Players holding back on different positions here from Valiant, but somehow KPI are winning all the fights. That is mad from the in-game leader of KPI. Zeddy is doing God's work right now. And Insider wants to just double it up as well. This round it seemed like Valiant got scot-free into the B site, and that's just only because KPI allowed them to do so. And the rest will want to go aggro, which does allow Valiant to pick up 1 or 2 more, but there's a bit of a pincer maneuver being created from both sides of the map, and it's Jesse to be caught within the middle. And it just allows KPI to create a bit of a buffer on Valiant's save. Trouts right now, as they're both locked into sight. Hunter's Fury is pretty good to deter the back line, but it still just works out for Valiant, taking both defenders down.
Yeah.
2 defenders bunkered up on site, only able to get Jesse, who from the shadowed into the boathouse. The execute is good. Postplant needs to be better.
Oh my word! Zeddy's just so quick to react. Nescas couldn't have a chance to fight back. But still, Sayonara wants to bring more aggression to this fight. First, Blade connects to the head, but then ends up dropping and puts Killers on a clutch. Even if Ambi lost that fight, there could have been a guarantee of Cake. So Valiant finally getting things going their way on a buy round. Is taking attention away from them, is it though? Defo slow peeks it, is able to find a wide angle on it this time. He's low on health and Shock Dart should seal the deal, and it does. The trade is there. Valiant still on the back foot, but they gain B-site access.
Game market as well, but a paranoia dedicated there to clear out some of the corners. They're not going to fight for it. Are you going to take it? No, it's not a great position to be trying to hold on this attack. A really weird post plant that Valiant found themselves in.
They have.
That smoke,
and
though.
If KPI managed to cross into the B site without taking any damage, it would be pretty good. The Aldrone now to seek it all out. Ambi there to assist. Valiant need these fights to go their way. Jesse has shown his card, and KPI aren't interested in taking themselves into the site. Instead, they want the fights, and it's exactly what Valiant are wanting them to do. Jesse in and out of battle. Every time he walks in, he gets a kill. Ambi now shows his ground, but Killis is still alive, but not for long. Down expended early. Oh, Bisk up close and personal. Of course it's a buggy. To make trouble for Valiant, at least. Valiant are able to bring themselves back just a bit. Sayonara out into the open, but again, he is bringing magic to rounds like this. The flash is pretty good. The follow-up not as spectacular, but it gets the job done. And all of a sudden, Valiant are behind with rifles that KPI can pick up in the ground.
Another uncomfortable post plant. They're going to wait for the spike to go down. Lockdown's basically confirmed this, right?
It really has. Valiant are forced to push in. no gaps at the back of sight where KPI can hide into, are there? Maybe slight ones. No, nowhere to go. Sayonara will just clean up the sitting ducks, and it's KPI right back in the lead.
Checkmate, disciplined as well, just making sure that they wait for that detainment to come down. Someone's going to get that information now. And then they push it up to fight with the op here.
Inside of that was risky. Sayonara, pot shots through the smoke with a shorty. That's greedy. Killer's back of sight, and he's got the friend of Zeddy to play around with as well. Valiant are playing the slow, which has given time for KPI to reposition, but the kills are going in Valiant's favor. Somehow, Killers is able to trade back. Sayonara as well, being the magician that he is. But Valiant stay in charge, stay under control, and it's all pacing the way they laid it out to. Sayonara as well, though. That's got patience galore.
It's got
A world
Bladestorm.
where that could have been a collat, and Bladestorm now available for him to put him in a clutch position. Spots out a pixel of ahead and knows where his opponent is. So Cake drops like a fly, and Jesse is all by himself. Sayonara nearly connected a shot and might have been the clutch for the ages, but Valiant stays supreme.
He's going to peek out and get more. He's being watched by Ambi. He was moving at the same time, so he could have got a really good timing on it. He holds the line. Valiant just picking this off one at a time, 5v3.
Yeah, Insider seems to be overheating. I think it's the second push he's had that hasn't quite worked out for him. He praised his early starts and now might feel like he needs to show up. Bisk, the next line of contention, finds only one before he drops, but Valiant can afford the trading game. Zeddy needs something different to bring KPI out of the slump. Sayonara further away, but an operator still being a very dangerous commodity. Drops in with a classic instead, oh my word! And he's drawn the attention away from Zeddy. But is it enough? Because Ambi's position isn't too bad, and he takes the fight towards Zeddy. Sayonara dropping. Smoke to conceal one of his angles. That flash from Ambi is superb, and it allows him to clutch up the round for his team, and the lead for Valiant.
Goes off, but the alarm bot been broken. Does that change inside his approach? It does. He goes ahead of it, and Nescast was waiting nicely.
Both of these teams have patience for days. From the shadows to the back of the site to assist Bisk in defending, but now left to himself. Zeddy's only good for one, and Valiant grouping up together have found the source. Final round of the half, and it just might be theirs. Ex-champion Killers tasked with a clutch. Hunter's Chorizo will be the way he'll go into the ground. Sayonara to lead the charge. Two to the back of sight here for Valiant, and they've also got a third one on the sideline. Sayonara to open things up, but his life is short-lived. Killers finds a shot through the smoke. That's vitally important as Valiant are scrambling to get onto the side to defend next to Jesse. Jesse's done so much so far, but it's KPI to get the space to get the spike down, but Cake not holding back. He wants to go in, and he's got Defo side by side to make sure they guarantee the second pistol of this map. Defo commits the cross, given he has no vision on the push, but the superior weapons will be handling the flood of attackers over to B. The push on spawn was a little bit more problematic, but they haven't faced the final boss, the Cake, with an Odin in hand, which will complicate the affair. Sayonara's gone looking. Whoa, KPI just bring kills out of nowhere. That was pretty damn quick. And that was just because Valiant decided to push out B, but also the pick on mid didn't lack the flamboyancy factor. Take flight. But no pace is gained from it. Instead, KPI have turned out to be a little bit more careful with their decision making. Nescast reads the position and rotates away from an impending nade to his feet. So pretty good maneuvering here from Valiant to keep themselves in check.
And Jesse found a kill too. On a rotation, there's still a minute on the clock for KPI, so they have lots of time to work with. But this position, it's just a cake with the Eldra, that might have given it away. But it's taken the attention, potentially, Jesse to do something more towards mid too.
If Valiant win this, they're on the highway to success on Ascent. So they're taking everything seriously.
30 seconds left.
Posted up again in logs. This time can't be cleared by a nade. It's been used earlier by Killers. And that's where KPI are going.
20 seconds
20
though.
20 seconds to spare. This is looking good for Valiant, very damn good. At least what KPI have got going for them is the fact that they've got more players to this fight than their opponents too. Nescat's good for one on the long distance with the Stinger, and the repositioning by Jesse with the TP is good enough as well to keep Zeddy at bay. There's no time to put that spike into the ground. Valiant win their bonus round.
There's been nothing said by Smart7. He's just like, we ball.
Well, so far KPI have found an entry. Even with lesser weapons, maybe that is the concoction for success. Maybe Sheriffs is what is required to bring back the confidence.
It's just the wee balls, it's working. The structure is sound, the guns, however, not, but the post plant is a deep one. The door broken, Nescas just spraying to try and find something. The Odin's going to do a good job of that as well. And off the recon, 2 Zeddy goes.
The perfect gun for the situation, but somehow Bisk is able to find a trade right back up. Nescas has got the high ground, but KPI not willing to look out of the shadows. They want to stay nestled into their corners. They know where Killers is, and Nescas is going to try to take that fight early. It takes away the attention, so Ambi moves in on time, 2v2. Nescas looking to close up the gap, but Insider is very accurate with that Sheriff. And the spike is planted directly where KPI wants it to. Ambi off it, and they know of it. Shot that not connecting. It takes damage off of Bisk. Ambi diffuses it halfway, and he might just have the clutch there. 4 on the shot that lands directly in Ambi's face.
He's missed a few though.
Oh, he has, and it feels like Valiant might have spotted that movement on the mini
Flash
crossing through that pixel, and the transition going into mid might be catching Nescas before there's a player to trade back into the other side. Somehow we get Zeddy. The second frag was immaculate. I don't know where that came from, but Sekake is left to deal with it. The recon is superb, and the trade from Bisk comes in right on time. 3v3 with 20 seconds to spare. The spike gets planted.
That no command was everything. Sekake was on the site, recon dart in hand, trying to spray people through, but the no command suppressed him. He gets caught. Hunter's Fury now trying to just create a little bit more space for KPI to play around. They're all backed in on the site just like Valiant were. Kill it!
No! No way that just happened! Killis dies to his own teammate, Hunter's Fury. Bisk didn't quite know how low his teammate was, and it might be costly, but Bisk is able to bring it right back up by getting another kill. Insider also there to assist. Both to the back of site as Valiant have entered. Spike being touched, pressure onto KPI. Insider gets out of dodge, but it's still Jesse to clutch it up.
Even the secondary observers like, what's going on? What's going on now?
Oh man, Defo! Absolutely putting the final nail into the coffin of KPI. They are determined to shut down Ascent for themselves and take it to Lotus. Yeah, we've got a long way to go, but it doesn't feel like it. After this round collected, only one will be required, and one mistake from KPI will be their demise. The confidence is there, and the France versus Derby. Valiant have got everything in store for them. Ultimates galore, but they might not even need it as Eddie's gone aggressive themselves. Recon has revealed everything they're required. Hunter's Fury trying to find if there are any more aggressive players to allow the rest of the team to move in from heaven, but they are going to take the fight from short. The lockdown has come through, but it's been a patient one, so Valiant gain access control with all KPI players playing into wide. Nescas defusing while the rest of the team are being human shields that shoots back at their opponents. The Odin will pre-fire that angle. And the kill that defeat he did collect was without seeing anybody. And talking about smokes, Insider pushes his own little toxic screen to grab a return kill. He does end up dropping though, so the trading game favors the Valiant side as another fight ensues towards that B site. Spike going down. And Valiant not too eager to move out of the site just yet. Wanted to take the fight and hold it there as they've got traps to work around. Bisk will open first. The assistant utility from Killers allows them to do so. But Ambi, all he's going to do is try and distract them by that time as his team gets themselves into position to get themselves the off angles. You can see Jesse, he's ready to pounce. But he's not going to move into until Valiant gives him the call. KPI group up. It's Killers to move out of the smoke first, but Ambi and Sekake's bullets are connecting today, and it's Valiant to get themselves first.
You have the feed actually back up to go straight into it, and we've actually just got the first kill there, Sayonara going down.
I'm glad we didn't have to repeat that first round, and it's Jesse that does fantastically well, close to enemy lines. Bisk from afar, trying to do his best to find some damage. Sekake has ended up dropping, and Jesse being low, could also get picked up down to very low points of health, down to 7 to be precise. But Defo will be doing the cleaning up as he was on the lurk himself.
I don't know what the buy was, but there's 2 big rifles in from Ambi and Defo. Might just be these 3. Marshall picked up from Nescas. I assume that was from Bisk. The spy planted over on A. We just jumped in at a weird time because we were watching the attackers holding off rubble from the defenders that were flanking all the way around. Running topsy-turvy, but if there's a time to lose out, it's now, right? The anti-eco, Valiant should be winning it, only losing 1. It's just Keyless. Looking to die to the spike, hopefully, because he definitely needs to go down. He doesn't have a weapon. Ambi.
Now his own smoke.
He's going in
an arrow
again.
paint shots to the back of the site. Spray down, looking to find a kill. He has chipped down a couple of players, soften it up for later on. Annihilation comes through. Sayonara will try and survive. His teammate keeps him away from the cocoon. And it's KPI that still stands strong with more players than their opponents and no space gained by Valiant.
Yeah, Nescas has to find a pocket here. It's a 4v3. The attackers lost all of that space and immediately Insiders pushed up and is fighting close on A. It's risky, but it's good info. He's going to hear the footsteps as they rotate. And Nescas now has 3 players to deal with.
The fact that Zeddy and Jesse are solo, it's going to be a difficult endeavor.
One of the few players that has a rifle on this low buy for them. But Bisk with the op finds a nice little pocket of timing. Doesn't have the TP in order to get out, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Sayonara's going to clear. Sayonara fighting.
Oh, he's going directly in for the fight. Showstopper connects onto Defo, but the landing isn't quite there. The fact that Killis is there to assist, though, allows KPI to stay standing. Bisk overstays his welcome as Nescas pops off and opens up the A site.
Door's not broken. Neural Theft is going to show exactly where these players are. And the GravNet is actually really nice. It at least allows those players to cross on over, get the post plant into better spots. Yeah, how do you even break through on this? It's the great escape for KPI.
It's when this double sentinel comp shines most, right? When you gain access to a site and just throw everything at your opponents. And it just makes it so difficult to cross through, figure out where the sonic sensors are, take time to spray through the cages. So Cake is the only one backside, while the rest are lurking either from behind or from above. And the one with the backstab seems to be the most influential. In this circumstance, Zeddy is able to trade. A 1v2 ask from him with only 8 bullets to spare, but the taking of the spike is frantic.
Ooh,
and somehow he gets one. He has to get it diffused halfway, otherwise he is in trouble. Ambi sprays in the approximate direction and gets the job done 1 by 1. Gave opportunities for Nescas to isolate.
It's a full buy. It's pretty much 10 guns all the way in A main. Defo finds the first kill onto Insider, and they're going for more.
Defo's just mowing them down right now. Might as well rename him to a lawnmower. KPI on the back foot, majorly so. Sure, a tour de force is available for Bisk. It's not like the guns are missing or lacking in any regard. It's just that Valiant have been super clean when it comes to grouped play.
Teddy all on his lonesome. Even Bisk isn't rotating aggressively. He's maybe expecting a rotation, but he's so far away from the action.
Yeah, this is a tough one from Zeddy. No miracle. Hold to their guns with Valiant pushing through. Sayonara's taking matters to his own hands and gets one scot-free.
Lovely little angle. He's so good at getting one and getting out as well. It's so safe, but aggressive at the same time with the approach and plays that he's making. Zeddy's getting a lot of space over towards C2. So if there is that pivot to go through B and then maybe through the door towards C, Zeddy can keep an eye and also use the ultimate to get in for the fight quicker. He might get more than he bargained for here. There's 2 trips in the way. And the Cypher relatively close by to hear this.
TP, it might have been heard, or Nescas, due to intuition, turns around and asks for Jesse to help out. But in the meantime, KPI put pressure onto Nescas. Jesse ends up dropping. Perfect play from KPI. Baiting players exactly where they want them.
Boxed it in. The 2v4, Annihilation readily available again for Ambis this post plant. Holding down, it's horde mode now, it feels like, over on this A site, but a great ultimate, and Defo's not afraid to go aggressive and find more!
Whoa! Defo, that is superb, and you might have just clutched the round for your team. Still 2 to go, though. But a 2v2 when you've got the advantage with the spike being down and sonic sensors as well as Annihilation at your disposal. just that close to the guarantee. They need the kill on Ambi. Otherwise, this is a done deal. And the paint shells as well to add to the affair. Uh-oh. KPI have walked into an oopsie, albeit their early awesome efforts.
It's playing time
might
so
have just
well.
all been put to an end. Annihilation thrown in doesn't pick out anyone. KPI knew they were doomed though. Zeddy will try and catch out the rotation. He succeeds in doing so, but they plank movement. Valiant are pushing in. They've circumnavigated the smoke, but Zeddy's surprising from a different angle and have completely obliterated Valiant. Sakake, the only one remaining. But honestly, his moments in this round are numbered. Blinded by the paranoia, has to draw back, give that space away. The spike nowhere near him, and the opportunity of clutching just doesn't look there. Bit of a high-low from 3 different players, but it's Zeddy's got the guarantee of Sayonara on a higher ground. But Defo peeks again, finds a gap. He always finds these, and it's just so impressive. Insider trying to seize the day here, but Nescas sees the opportunity to walk in and interrupt any sort of chaos that was about to create it. It's Valiant in charge with a 3v2 situation that it's hard to imagine KPI can uncover.
Careful.
All coming in from the same spot. The post-plant position's good. You got the deadlock utility to still play in from.
And Zeddy's isolated to the back of site. He doesn't even have a TP to run away, so he's going to give his life to this. And the name of this effort, Nescas deeply positioned as well, is the guarantee. But how comfortable can Valiant be here to push? They can't be, because KPI are here on all grounds, all means, and all angles, as well as Showstopper thrown in as a guarantee as well. Somehow Valiant have found a couple of kills.
Jesse!
Make that a third onto their own teammate. Uh-oh. This is a bit of a theme going on in the series. But KPI hold on to see for now. If Defo peeks around, no, they're in completely different positions. Sayonara, how does he even do that? And he gets away with Defo can't do a thing.
You've seen him.
Players
He's cancelled.
out in Mount. He's cancelled, but he hasn't realised how many players he's let through, because they have crossed to the back of the site, and he is going to be a stranded man, but at least we'll try to get some players down with him, and that's when Ambi makes his presence known. Sakake as well, joining in that endeavour, catching players up that on B, and somehow the spike will be going down on the 30-second mark. Ambi throwing down the Annihilation, not finding a player, although that was close. Killers and Insider might still have a grasp on this game.
And be only having a stinger though on site, but now has the rifle, all that utility to play off. Again, a heist needed for KPI to get in. Gravnet used a little bit early. Healers inside all to do.
All this utility ensues that they'll be moving from the high ground, so Valiant can all direct their crosshairs in the right position. Ambi holds down the back of site, while 2 are the artillery towards the other end. Nescas trying to take the first fight.
Down, it's just everybody grouped up taking fights, and KPI are at least aware.
KPI playing it all on site, and they want to take the fight towards Valiant out to Fountain, but that's where all the Valiant players are, apart from one! And it catches KPI off guard. They lose their fights, and Bisk and Sayonara are the only ones remaining, where Valiant somehow have been isolated a bit, and KPI are finding kill by kill. This actually might be doable. Finally, Valiant have grouped up, bunched up together to take the fights, but they're running out of time, and Sayonara knows of this, so he's going to be going around this pillar for as long as he can, finding the high ground and giving this round over to his team. Probably. But KPI have given themselves an in. This is the best opportunity to square things up, and Bisk is feeling sharp, outlaw in hand. I mean, his opponents don't really have armor, but still gets it done with 1 bullet per player, and even finding headshots from time to time.
It's working so well. Like the chamber on one side, even the deadlock on the other. Totally different looks for Lotus, but they have their merits, and it's really interesting to see how they match up. Bit of damage from Sakake, but with the low buy, a couple more kills would be nice. But this should be KPI making it 7-all.
Yeah, there's nothing Valiant will do to interrupt any of the players' decisions and saving, so the weapons will be held for the next round. Not the worst, not the best. We haven't seen an investment into Phantom Vandals, etc., which is something we've been seeing from a couple of players from time to time. Sayonara instead is the one to go for a chase. He wants to maximize his orb count and has secured the showstopper, I believe, with that death. Could be very useful for their next attack.
Would be brilliant. Jesse, no time.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
Wasn't that far off. As a second more, and there's potential. It's been a while since we've seen one.
Than anyone else from the team holds. Valiant walking in together. 2 on one side, 3 on the other. Bisk misses the first shot, but is able to account for the second. But Valiant aren't holding back on pace. They're moving in very quickly. But KPI look to be ready for it, at least for now. Inside, they're doing work with this Bulldog. But it's only killers left now. But they've done a lot, because it's down to a duel with Nescas defusing halfway, getting off the spike, getting a bit of damage onto him. All Killers has to do is hide back. Nescas hasn't touched the spike. Killers goes for another look. Whoa, Bisk was very patient. For a second there, I thought Jesse could get away with it, but no. Jiggle peeking only lasts for so long. So Cake ends up falling victims. Valiant are just dropping like flies right now. KPI slapping them off the skies. And Ambi will make sure Sayonara falls flat on his belly, but doesn't have a pretty fate either.
Someone planted yet. Killers is one away from a nightfall. Be nice to get. Bisk might even be able to go grab the orb on A, but I doubt it at this rate if it's still up or not. So here, just a 4 versus 1. You've got the gun upgrade. Defo might be able to pick some up better. But you can at least spam up a couple of orbs. Keep the money golden. And really send Valiant into a bit of a death spiral.
Yeah, definitely. All he's here to do is to find some damage, but don't catch anyone onto the B side though, that's important, although they check the weakness of that Nightfall, which is that corner, and Cake ends up dropping. Defo kills inside before he's had a chance to get caught by the Annihilation. They do manage to get Zeddy out of it, but it's not enough for them to be ahead. Plant coming through, Paint Shells looking to do a lot. Sayonara with the shorty onto Defo's face, and still it's Nescas and Jesse alive for Valiant. A very close endeavor. Very close indeed. With both teams having their players bunched up together, looking in one direction, but of course the spike needs to be defused. Jesse, on that case, is off of it. KPI don't buy it. Nescas there with a first, Sayonara with a second, goes in the smoke with a shorty, but it's not the best as Jesse has run away from the situation and able to clutch it up for his team.
Oh, it was just, you're holding your breath watching it. Plenty of time for Jesse to get...
Defo, deep, now with assistance. And he's able to replicate what Sayonara did, but even better! This is not just a 1-up, that's a 2-up, because it's a triple annihilation kill, a mean steam headshot machine.
Showstopper 2. Well, basically plugs that over towards A, that little bit of aggression I want to see what Valiant now starting to show. Just individual amazement. Good control over on C from Nescas as well with that camera. Hiding behind the box, which I don't think will be cleared. And he might be gifted a 1 versus 1 here, as these players from KPI slipping apart, not playing together. Are heading towards C now.
Nescas, they're not going to check this, are they? Uh-oh. It could just be exactly what Bisk is there to hold it down. Operator versus 2 on the 4s, but he scopes away, and it costs his teammates life.
What?
4 versus 4. Spike to drop. The pace keeps on going as Nightfall shall drop. Nescat to the back end. Biskal is no longer alive. And Valiant have got full control of this now. They can start to rotate around and close KPI in. With a neural theft, they've got all the information they require. Sayonara. Bunched in by the paint shell, still able to keep his life though, so that's crucial enough. Killer's losing his life, means that Valiant are high and in charge. That could be a spray down by Sayonara. It's good enough for now. Insider is left to get a double kill, but only good for the 1, allowing Valiant to get the lead.
Oh, Nesca's massive stuff. Good grief, these rounds are chaotic, but you have...
Ooh. Yeah, Valiant are fully in control, and Sayonara's got something to say about it. He's found some spray shots onto Nescas, and he's repositioned inside his own Viper's pit. It's still difficult though. Valiant are struggling to find the trades here, which gives Sayonara the confidence to stick around. He's really the gatekeeper of the C site, isn't it? This is his domain, and no one shall cross when he's under control. And
I've done, that's the major change. Nesgas is just sending it Neural Theft and Annihilation in hand to use as soon as Zambi's ready.
it's a perp by Nesgas, and he's still alive to the back of the side with KPI wondering, do they go in, do they move out?
Got him.
Annihilation used, and Killes is being taken on a journey. Zeddy considering if he wants to pull the trigger and saving his teammate's life, but it's just too tanky, and Killes will end up falling just by that. KPI are down to 3 players in total. And they're really struggling to take that fight. Zeddy needed a Hail Mary, he knew it. He had to go for it, but it just won't work out. At least access to it has been given.
Oh no,
But isn't it just a fake sense of security? Because Sayonara has found himself into the back line of Valiant.
Oh, Defo's
And all of a
stuck.
sudden, Defo is boxed in with the map closing in on him. And nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and the A site is opened up for KPI.
Nesgas is just going to peek out the smoke. He's got this wraparound from Jesse to support, and
What?
Bisk is caught napping.
It's never over for Valiant. Absolutely never. A 2v2 now. Zeddy's got an operator. He's going to post up to the back of site, but that leaves Sayonara by himself with no really opportunity to trade, but he gets one and he can get back. Now, folding back to the site with Zeddy. Transitioned into it, but Sayonara is not going to just be happy with the space control he's been given. He wants to go in for more and demand it by knocking on Valiant's door. Superb play. And the round's just not over yet, because Valiant aren't going to let it be over. They're down in numbers, but Sayonara is making sure there's no more life into Valiant's life. Just making sure he's getting rid of all the oxygen to try and catch them off guard. So Cake is ready for it, but not quite enough. Bisk lines up the second shot, but it's going to be a secondary gun to make it all work. And this just might be it. Valiant are shaking their heads, losing player after player. Sayonara and Zeddy making sure they create coffins and spaces into the ground for their opponents to jump into. That's gonna be KPI's qualification to the final of Ascension play-ins.